Are you trying to create a funnel on GoHighLevel but can't seem to figure out how to do it? Well, in this video, I'll build one with you so you know exactly how to do it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, the very first thing that you're going to do when you come into your high level is head on over to sites, make sure that you're in funnels, and then go and create a new website, be it over here or on the top right-hand corner here. In my case, I'm just going to name it Simple VSL to Booking Funnel. And of course, you can also use the funnel AI. Now, keep in mind, high level does charge for this. So if you're thinking about using it, just keep that in mind. And you're also able to use one of the thousands of templates that high level already offers you inside of the funnel builder here. I'm just going to create one from blank just to show you guys exactly how you can do it from scratch though. Now, very quickly, before we get into it, I just want to quickly break down absolutely everything that you have in here. The first thing that you have is access to your steps. This will show you absolutely every single step that you have in order inside of your funnel so that you can edit them, reorder them, or do whatever you want with them. Next, you have stats. This will give you a very good breakdown of what kind of numbers and percentages you're seeing from people that are coming to the first step, moving on to the next step, taking action in the different steps that you have so that you can have a better view of how your funnel is performing. After that, you have the sales. Here, if you have any sort of product attached to any of your funnel steps, you'll be able to see exactly which ones, you'll be able to see who's bought them, what their emails are, etc. Next up, we have security. To be quite honest with you, I have never really used this. This is just if you have any sort of important documents or anything on there that you want to secure. Next up, you have events. This will be specifically for those of you that are running ads. And lastly, we have the settings. I will get into the settings last because here is where we're going to add our domain. And so it's very important that we come back here at the end. Now, with that said, let's go back into steps. And first of all, what I like to do is add all of the steps included in my funnel. In this case, the funnel that we're going to be building is a very simple VSL, then booking calendar and thank you page to make things very simple. So the first thing that we're going to do is name the first page VSL. For those of you that don't know, a VSL is a video sales letter or a video that you record to essentially sell your offer or a call that you have or anything else. Next up, I'm going to add yet another one for the booking calendar. And lastly, I'm going to add a thank you page that is going to essentially prepare people for the call once they go ahead and book it in. Now, going back to the VSL, the first thing that we're going to do is create from blank. If you're starting off with a fresh account, you're unlikely to have anything else inside of it, and so you won't be able to use anything from any existing funnels that you have. Now, just to give you a very quick breakdown of every single section and everything that you can do inside of these funnel builders and website builders, it's really simple. The first thing, the base layer, if you will, are the sections. You can make them full width, wide, medium, small, however you would like. I usually go with full width because inside of every single one of these sections, you have rows. Again, you can select exactly what type of rows you want. I'm just going to go very simple and just have a one column row. Inside, you will have elements. Here's where you can add everything from text, images, videos, surveys, calendars, everything that you want. You can even add custom CSS if you really wanted to go down that route. In our case, what I'm going to do is add a very quick headline, and underneath this, I'm going to add yet another column, and here is where I'm going to embed our VSL. Now, for those of you that want to edit this and make it look like your own brand, be it with your colors, etc., what you're going to go ahead and do is head on over to these buttons at the top and select background, where you'll be able to change the background color. Now, I'm going to make something that's very clean, and so I'm going to make the background dark. Next up, I'm going to select the headline by just pressing on it, and then I'm going to go on the right-hand side every single time that you press a heading or a section or a column or a row or any other element. On the right-hand side of your screen, the settings and controls for that specific section will pop up so that you can fully edit it as much as you want. Now, keep in mind, when I come to build my funnels or websites or landing pages or whatever it may be, I always start with the desktop view as it gives me the largest view possible. And then what I go ahead and do is on top over here, you're able to select mobile mode. Now, keep in mind, over 90% of your traffic will likely be coming from mobile. So what you want to do is after you've roughly built out your landing page or your page that you're on, you want to go ahead and press the mobile version and make sure that you clean it up as best as possible so it's optimized for the mobile. You want to make sure that those people that come through the mobile have the best experience possible. And also, of course, for the few that are going to come through desktop mode, you want to make sure that it still looks good. With that said, again, I'm going to select the heading and I'm going to then change the color. You don't need to select all of the heading. You just simply need to press it and then come in here and select white, for example. In this case, as it's a heading, it's already in bold, so I don't need to change that. Now, of course, you're not going to write this over here. You're going to write whatever is relevant to what you want them to see. But you can add your logo by just pressing the plus button over here, selecting image, and then moving this above that. And then if you go ahead and on the right, select this. And again, we can select another logo and just make it a little bit smaller so that it doesn't get too big. Now, of course, the colors are off, but you get the point. Now, every time that you make any sort of change, I would highly recommend you press the save button. Trust me, I've been editing funnels for over an hour, only to then swipe right on my trackpad and my Mac think that I want to head back, and boom, just like that, an hour's work is lost. So don't be dumb like me and just hit the save button every so often to make sure that your progress is saved. After that, you're going to select the video because, of course, that's what they're here for. And you're going to select what type of video you have to show them, be it YouTube, Vimeo, Wistia, custom embed if you have it on some other software. Or, of course, you can also host a video, which gives you a host of different options that you can use for people to be able to or not be able to mess around with the video, including play pause, skipping around, toggling full screen, and so on and so forth. And a very, very good thing that you can do if it's with a hosted video is that you can generate leads from this video. So let's say that you are running ads or you have some sort of organic content pushing people into this funnel. If they come in here and you don't have a lead form or anything where you've captured their emails prior, well, what you can do is after, let's say, 10 seconds of them watching this video, you can have a form that will pop up, will pause the video and pop up and ask them, hey, for you to continue watching this video, please add your name and your email here. And once they do it, the video will then keep playing. So it's a very, very good way of getting people in, starting to watch it, get FOMO because it will stop, and then fill out this email, newsletter form, or whatever form you want for them to give you their email. Now, for simplicity's sake, again, I'm just going to select YouTube. What you would do is just get the YouTube URL and paste it in this bar here, and then that is pretty much it. Now, once people watch your video, you're likely going to have a call to action at the end of it telling people to book in a call with you by pressing the button below. And so what we're going to do now is add this button in by just pressing this plus underneath it and pressing the button. You can see here a button magically appears. And what we're going to do now is just kind of change the style of this to make it look a little bit nicer. We're going to go into advanced, and what I want to do is add a border because I absolutely hate borders and buttons that are square. And what we're going to do is change the radius to around 10. And just like that, the corners are now round. All I want to do now is just change this from click to sign up to book in your call now. And I usually like making this a little bit bold. So I go into font weight and change this to bold. Boom, that's great. And I am going to make sure that the button action, this is very important. When they press it right now, it's going to open a pop-up. If you want them to go to the next step, which in this case is the booking calendar, you need to select this and select next step. You can see here, there's a bunch of other options that you have. So feel free to explore. In this case, as it's a funnel, I want to go to the next step, and that's what I'm going to select. The only thing that I'm going to do now is add some sort of animation to make it seem more appealing for them to actually press that button. So in my case, what I usually like to do is just the glow. What this will do is if I press out of it, you can see now that this button ever so slightly just starts pulsating in neon so that it grabs the attention of your lead. Now again, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And before I go on to the next step, I'm going to go onto mobile and make sure that everything looks good. As you can see here, it doesn't. My logo is very big, taking up a lot of screen. If it's a smaller phone, odds are that only the top of the video, let's say the first quarter of the video is going to be showing. And so we don't want that. What I'm going to do is take my big face out of the way. I'm going to select, first of all, the logo, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Now, keep in mind, this is just altering the size on the mobile and not on the desktop mode. So what I'm going to do is probably make it a little bit smaller just so that you can still see it, but it's still not big enough where it obstructs a lot of real estate. Next up, I'm going to change the margins because you can see there's a large space between the logo and the top of the screen, and I want to minimize that space as much as possible. So I'm just going to remove a lot of padding. All right, so that's a little bit better. You can see that now the video is going to show up a little bit more to the top, but I still want to go one step further and make this heading a little bit smaller because as of right now, it's still a little bit too big. I'm going to save it. And that looks about right. Of course, if you want to preview, you can always press this little eye on the top right here, and you'll be able to see exactly what it looks like. And if you want to see what it looks like on the phone without actually going onto the phone, just right click on your mouse or press with 2 fingers on your trackpad, inspect element, and you'll be able to toggle between desktop mode and mobile mode on the top right hand corner of your screen. And then you can drag depending on what size you want it to be, depending on the phone, of course, that you want your lead to be using or you think your lead's going to use. You can see here, it looks quite good. Of course, I would still test it out on your phone, but for the time being, that's absolutely fine. And now let's go to the next step, which is the booking calendar. So what you're going to do is on the top where it says the name of your step, you're going to press that and GoHighLevel is going to open all of the pages inside of this funnel. So what I'm going to do is just head over to the booking calendar and repeat the process. You can see here, it's going to use the same background so that it flows, but we're going to need to add a section first of all. So what we're going to go ahead and do is press this plus button, full width again, and start adding these rows. Now, instead of a button or a video, what I'm going to do now is add a calendar over here. And it's going to prompt me to select which calendar I want to use. In this case, I'm just going to use a pre-made calendar that I have over here. However, if you want to know exactly how you can make these calendars and the automations behind them so that you can fully set up this system so that when someone books in, you get alerted, they get moved into the pipeline, they get tagged, and they receive reminders, make sure to check out the video on the top right-hand corner of this video because I have a step-by-step walkthrough on how to do it. Regardless of that, if we continue, what you're going to do now is just hit save. Again, you're going to look at what it looks like on the mobile mode. That looks fine. If you want to put a logo at the top, again, you just add an item over here, move your big face out of the way, add an image, and then it's likely going to appear at the bottom now. So we just need to press this arrow to go up top. On the right-hand side, again, we're going to select the media, select our logo, and that is way too big. And we're going to make it smaller, and bada bing, bada boom, that's done. Now on a mobile version, of course, as per usual, this is way too big. So let's just reduce this and reduce this again. And also this one. Perfect. So I'm now satisfied with that. The only thing that we need to do is select the calendar and make sure that the button action, again, when they press the button to schedule the call, is to go to the next step since we have a thank you page. If you do not have any page or do not want to have any page after this, then make sure to press use action from calendar builder. And what will happen is the second that they book it in, GoHighLevel will just give a thank you page that allows them to add their booking straight into their Google Calendar and to their Outlook calendar if they have that. In my case, I'm just going to press go to next step and hit save. And now we are going to the final step. Now here you can go crazy. Now, in my case, what I usually do is that my thank you page usually says thank you for booking at the top, of course, not only to just confirm that they've booked everything in, but to also congratulating them on doing so. And so what I usually write is thank you, your call is now booked. And of course, we need to go on the right-hand side and change this to white, for example. There you go. And what I like to do is I like to have a pre-call video. Now, a lot of people don't watch it on this landing page, so I would recommend that on the email sequence that you have with the reminders, you add the video on there as well to make sure that people watch it. This is very important if you're having a large number of leads coming through and you want to pre-qualify them or you want to make sure that they come prepared to that call. It will also make it a lot easier as you'll be pre-selling to them, you'll build trust with them and rapport without you actually having to talk to them. So for that video, what we're going to do is we're going to add a section just underneath the heading with this video. And just like that, our funnel is done. We just need to make sure that we head on over to the mobile view. And of course, as per usual, this is first of all way too big. It is too far from the top of the screen. And that is now a lot better. So just like that, we have made our funnel. Now, one thing that is very, very important is that you go ahead and test it. So for you to do that, what you need to do is hit back and go into the settings. So this is where I mentioned at the start of the video where the settings is very important. Here is where you'll be able to connect your domain. Now, if you want a step-by-step guide on how to connect your domain to your high level, go ahead and press the I on the top right-hand corner of this video because I've made a video showing you step-by-step how you can connect it. But once you have that connected, what you're going to go ahead and do is select your domain by pressing the drop-down menu here, pressing which domain you want to use, and then making sure that you selected save. This is very, very important because if you don't save it, it's not going to keep your domain. Once it thinks a little bit, you can see now that you'll have your URLs for the different steps just above the editor on the different steps. Now, if for any reason you don't like the URL that you're getting and you want to change the path at the end, what you're going to do is you're going to press into the different steps, hit publishing, and here you'll be able to change this to whatever you want. Just hit update step. And once it updates, you'll be able to see back in overview your updated URL that you can now send to people, and people can just copy, paste it, and when they search for it, you'll see that they now go onto your landing page. And you can see now if I press book in your call, I'll be pushed onto the next step with the calendar. If I book it in, I'm not going to book it in because this is actually a call that's connected to my account and it is costing $60. And so I'm not going to pay for an all call with myself, but you get the gist. Whenever someone books it in, they will now go on to the next step. So before you push this live, make sure that you thoroughly test it and make sure that everything runs smoothly. The last thing you want to do is, especially if you're paying to run ads, you publish this, people go on to the first step, and they're not able to book in a call with you because the button didn't work or because your calendar is not connected properly or something else. So save yourself the time, the hassle, the headaches, and the money, and just go ahead and test this as much as humanly possible. Now, for those of you that have still not connected your domains to your high-level accounts and you're still not connected them to your funnels and landing pages and websites, go ahead and watch this video right over here because I walk you through step by step how to do it.